Lesson: Assessing risks in strategy analysis. Assessing risks in strategy analysis is a critical component of the business analysis process, particularly within the framework of the Certified Business Analysis Professional certification. The ability to identify, evaluate, and manage risks effectively can determine the success or failure of strategic initiatives. This lesson provides actionable insights and practical tools for professionals to enhance their proficiency in this domain. The assessment of risks in strategy analysis begins with the identification of potential risks that could impact the achievement of strategic objectives. This requires a thorough understanding of the internal and external environment in which the organization operates. Tools such as SWOT analysis can be instrumental in this phase. By systematically categorizing internal strengths and weaknesses, as well as external opportunities and threats, business analysts can identify areas where risks may manifest. For example, a company with strong market positioning but limited financial resources may face risks related to capital funding for new projects. Once risks have been identified, the next step is to evaluate their potential impact and likelihood. The risk matrix is a practical tool used at this stage. It allows analysts to plot risks on a grid based on their probability of occurrence and potential impact. This visual representation helps prioritize risks, enabling decision-makers to focus on those that pose the greatest threat to strategic objectives. For instance, a high-impact, high-probability risk, such as a regulatory change in a heavily regulated industry, would require immediate attention and contingency planning. In addition to the risk matrix, Monte Carlo simulations can be employed for a more quantitative assessment. This statistical technique uses computational algorithms to simulate the impact of risk variables on strategic outcomes. By running numerous simulations with varying inputs, analysts can predict a range of possible outcomes and their probabilities, providing a more comprehensive risk picture. This method is particularly useful in complex projects with multiple interdependent risks, such as large-scale infrastructure developments. After evaluating risks, the focus shifts to developing strategies for risk mitigation. The implementation of risk response strategies is guided by the four main approaches: avoidance, reduction, transfer, and acceptance. Avoidance involves changing plans to circumvent the risk altogether, which may be appropriate for high-impact threats. Risk reduction focuses on minimizing either the probability or impact of the risk, often through process improvements or additional safeguards. For example, a technology company might invest in cybersecurity measures to reduce the risk of data breaches. Risk transfer involves shifting the risk to a third party, such as through insurance or outsourcing. Finally, risk acceptance is chosen when the cost of mitigation exceeds the potential impact of the risk, and the organization is prepared to deal with the consequences if it materializes. Case studies provide valuable insights into how organizations have successfully managed strategic risks. For instance, Toyota's response to the 2010 recall crisis demonstrates effective risk management in action. Faced with a significant threat to its brand reputation and financial performance, Toyota implemented a comprehensive risk mitigation strategy. This included enhancing their quality control processes, improving supplier relationships, and launching a global communication campaign to restore consumer trust. An ongoing component of risk assessment in strategy analysis is monitoring and reviewing risks. This involves regularly revisiting the risk register to ensure that all identified risks are still relevant and that new risks are promptly identified. The use of key risk indicators can facilitate this process by providing measurable metrics that signal potential risk exposure. For example, fluctuations in currency exchange rates might serve as a KRI for multinational corporations, indicating potential financial risk due to foreign exchange volatility. The integration of technology in risk assessment processes has become increasingly important. Advanced data analytics and artificial intelligence tools are now being used to enhance risk identification and evaluation. These technologies can analyze vast amounts of data to identify patterns and predict potential risks more accurately. For instance, AI-driven sentiment analysis can gauge public perception and identify reputational risks before they escalate into full-blown crises. The effectiveness of risk assessment in strategy analysis is ultimately measured by the organization's ability to achieve its strategic objectives despite uncertainties. This requires a culture of risk awareness and proactive management across all levels of the organization. Training and development programs can help build this culture by equipping employees with the skills and knowledge needed to identify and respond to risks effectively. In conclusion, assessing risks in strategy analysis is a multifaceted process that requires the use of practical tools and frameworks to identify, evaluate, and manage risks. By leveraging techniques such as SWOT analysis, risk matrices, Monte Carlo simulations, and advanced data analytics, professionals can enhance their ability to navigate uncertainties and drive successful strategic outcomes. The integration of case studies and real-world examples further enriches the learning experience, providing actionable insights that can be applied directly to professional practice.